Alright, welcome back. So for today what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something a little bit different, or actually it's gonna be continuation. So remember how we had our boxes? I just decided to scale them back to 111 so they're proper squares. And what I did was we added a function called health bar, which is basically, if we go here, our health bar is right here, which we created, and it's right here. It's basically just a little property which takes our public int health, which is right here. So this creates our health, and then we have two functions, get health and drop health. Now get health is just so you can see it, and drop health actually drops the amount. So, and the function basically goes as this. So when it gets created, our main health equals to that. Alright, and then we can do another function called check. So we have a drop health, so let's say it drops by 1 and our health is like 10, so then it goes down by that amount. Then it goes to check, which basically checks if it's less than or equal to 0, then we delete the guy. A little simple, but it gets the job done. So we're gonna close the health bar and close the health bar here, and then we're gonna go to the bullet. I didn't really change anything except I added two things. We added a body pointer called body for the bullet, and a void enter that takes this body pointer and a number. Now we're gonna do some stuff with this, but for now let's go back and talk a bit more. So for our boxes, we decided to give two of them a physics, and we gave them a shape of a box, and then we gave them different masses. So one of them has a 5, the other one has a 2. Maybe we should give this one a 10 just so we can see the difference between 5, 2. And then the big guy, I left the physics, but we just kept the health bar. So what we're gonna do is we're actually going to add to our old chute that we had, our little bullet. We're gonna make it so that it's still physics based, but it shoots as a raycaster. And what we're gonna do from there is we're actually going to then let the computer do the calculations and not make us basically search through it. Now this is the callback version of doing it. The other way to do it is when you actually hit an object. So let's go back to shooter animation. When you actually hit the object, so let's go right here. When you hit the objects, we got our objects here. We could have just said like component get health bar and drop the health bar by 1, which isn't a bad idea. But let's say if we had other objects, so let's say you threw a grenade, or like you dropped something in the air which had damage or something, or like let's say you had an object that had a bullet from somewhere else. You can easily do it here, but we want it so that the bullet has the ability to do it, or the bullet has the ability to choose or decide how much damage it gives. So we're gonna do it through a callback, so the bullet decides when to hit and when to not. So without further ado, I talk too much. We have our health bars on our dudes, and I give them different numbers just so we can see it. We didn't do anything on the health bar other than I showed you, nothing much. We're gonna change a little bit over here for shoot 2 and shoot. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove shoot shotgun because I don't want it right now. I want to use shoot 2, which is the raycast version. What we're going to do is, let's see right here, we're gonna do shoot over well, not here, we're gonna do shoot, and we're gonna do one more thing, is we're gonna actually add the prefab, or a vector to look at. So what we're gonna do right here is we're gonna add the the point where we want it to move to or look at. So that's there, and that is a Unigine vector 3 math. So we're just gonna do a Unigine math vector 3 look at. I'm just gonna add an address on it so it saves us some space. Then we go over here, it's gonna ask us to fix it, and then we're just gonna do a small little fix here where we're gonna say underscore bullet world look at, and we're gonna do the look at function. Alright, so that's gonna do that, and then it's just gonna be looking at the point that we shot, and it's gonna go to that point immediately. And yeah, we shoot it, okay, to that point. Alright, so that's done with that. Health bar, I can close it, and this I close it. Now we're gonna do something for the bullet.cpp. So we have callbacks. Basically, it's when something happens, the computer realizes, okay, that thing happened, we have to do this on that moment. So we are having two functions, and we're gonna have this. So before I even talk about what callback is, let's write it down so we can understand it. But first things first, let's set that body up. Alright, we're gonna set it up to node, node get object body rigid. So now it's connected to the bullet's object body rigid. Alright, then what we're going to do is we're actually going to do something called add contact enter callback, or add contact callback. So this, if you read through it, it only happens when you get contact to the body, anything that's touching the body. So this is every second. Now what we want is when it touches the moment it hits. So this is the one where it's called enter. So the moment you hit something or something hits it. So we're gonna use this guy, and then it's gonna ask for a callback base function. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a Unigine, I can never spell, make callback. Alright, and then it's gonna ask us for our what's it called, for our overloads, and it has a lot of overloads. Now we're gonna use, for the contact enter, we're going to use this, which means this object body rigid, and then it's gonna ask us for the function itself. So I'm just gonna use address bullet on enter. Okay, so now this stuff is connected to this. Okay, good. Now this is a little bit more complicated than what we're normally used to, but that's okay, just as long as you understand that we're just connecting things. So these are signatures. So now whenever something touches it, or whenever we touch something, this bullet, we're going to make a callback and say that something hit us. And when something hit us, we're going to do this. Okay? So do stuff. Can't even spell do properly. So over here, we're just going to do something. So now that we're actually playing around with, what do we call, with pointers, we're going to be a little bit careful. We actually have to do some checking. So we're gonna have to get object body pointer, alright, pointer 1, or body 1, body 2, and captured body. So these are checks, and for each one of them we're going to specify how we do this. So for body 1, we're gonna point it to the body. So this guy right here, pointer, add, the arrow, and then we're gonna get contact body number 0, number num. Okay, now this just means it caught the first body, it caught the internal body number 0, and this one is the external body number 1, and then for this we're just going to equal to null pointer. So what does this mean? So basically the body that got hit and the body that hit. Okay, so it's trying to find out how many bodies hit, and we're just going to connect these over here. Alright, now what we're going to do is basically an if statement. If body 1, basically if it exists, so if it's not null, if it exists, and body 1 does not equal to body. Basically what we're trying to say is if it does not equal to our bullet, the object itself, then captured body equals to body 1. So if it actually exists and it's not the object itself, it should equal that, but I have to do it for body number 2. And that connects those. So now, so if it exists, because let's say it doesn't exist at all, let's say it couldn't find it, then don't do anything, right? But if you do find something, then what we're gonna do is, let's actually just well, now this is where we get funny. Now this is, let's say we found the object. So in our case, let's say we shot the object boy and medium boy. They have an object body, right? They have a body rigid. So when you shoot it, we can easily say, let's do a message and say we shot, and then %s, comma, captured body, get object, because this is just the body, and then get name. That's it. So now it's going to add, we shot that thing, because captured body is the rigid body, and we didn't give the rigid body any name. So if you go here, click on that, there is no name. We could give it a name, but for now we don't. Okay. Else, if we shot something and it hit a collision, so this is when you hit stuff. So let's say we hit an object which had a rigid body, but let's say if it didn't have a rigid body. So in our case over here, this is body, and over here this is collision. So if we hit the ground, or if we hit this guy which has no rigid, we can literally say correctly. We hit something else. Okay, we'll just do that for now. So we can test this out right now. So we got the object, we hit something else because we were grabbing it. So now let me just shoot, we hit something else, shoot, 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 we hit something else. Alright, but let's say if we shot medium boy, we shot the boy, medium boy, and we hit something else. Okay, so, and then we hit something else. Okay, so that is perfectly working fine, other than the fact that it's recording it like 4 times. 6, 8, 10, don't know how many times. Alright, let's fix this. So if we hit something, then we could do force. No. Delete later. And then we do the same thing here. Control C, Control V, and it's gonna delete itself. But now we have a health bar. So what we're gonna do is actually we're going to include it right here. So we have that. I'm just gonna do this. Let's say for the objects we're going to alright, let's just say we're going to health bar pointer underscore, I'll just call it health, equals to get component health bar. Okay, and then we're going to choose the object that we just got it. So we're going to choose captured body and then get object, because we're trying to hit the nodes. So the nodes component health bar. Okay, so once we got that, then we're gonna do health drop health by 1. Let's just say by 1. So yeah, once we delete it, then we drop it by 1. And if it had it, so we also are going to do an if statement. So if health, then we drop it by 1. Okay, let's try this here, but over here it's gonna make an error because it's not gonna be captured body slash get object. What it's going to be is actually it's going to be body get object, no, body get contact object. No. So just in case if we are wrong, I'm just gonna log the name too. So copy this and get name %s. Let's hope I'm not wrong over here, but if we are, we'll find out soon. We hit the big boy, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he died. Then we shot boy. Oh no, there we go. And he died, and he died. Because we were closer, it triggered it a few times, so the damage was a lot more than it should have been. But yes, so there we go. We have a fully functioning on enter. Now we didn't do anything in terms of update, other than if it was longer than the time that we gave it, then yeah, we give it a short time, but yes, that's okay. So we basically have this whole thing correct. So we have a contact that was registered. So we make a callback over here when it starts being alive. All right, then once it hits something, we're going to get the things that got hit, and if it is something that's not the object, we give it to the captured body, and if it does exist, so once, let's say if we didn't hit anything, none of this should work. But if we hit something, then we hit the object, alright, then delete that, delete the bullet itself, and then we try to find the objects. We get a pointer to the health bar and see if it has health. If it has health, then we drop it. If it doesn't, it won't. Now let's say if the object didn't have a body collision, right here for this case, then we hit something else and it has name, and then we delete the bullet, and then we try to get the health bar component. If it does exist, then we can drop it by 1. Okay, so that's about it for our contact thing. So this is mostly for, let's say, it's an observer pattern. So this is good for when you have physics onto your bullets that you just want to shoot things, and if they have health bars, you're trying to make it more of a separate thing rather than trying to code everything in the bullet. Try to code everything on the health bar. What the health bar does, it just has the health. The bullet decides what it hits. So if we hit, or let's say for example we had a different bullet, this was a regular pistol bullet. Let's say we had a shotgun bullet, we could have made this to like 5, right? So things like that will change the way the bullet is supposed to be. And yeah, that's about it. Next episode, don't really know what I would need to do. Probably GUI or AI. Actually GUI would be more important, because now we actually have a health bar, and having the thing as a debug is not really useful. We can make a GUI on top of it and do it. But yeah, that's it. We will talk again. Goodbye.